Welcome to another episode of BHP Book Club. I am your host, Kelly Morgan. Today I'm speaking with teen author Elena Southworth. Elena is 14 years old. She's written 2 books. BBLS, which stands for Big Brother, Little Sister, is the first book. And The Harper's Holiday Horror is the second book. And she's got a 3rd book in the works. Not only is she a 2-time published author, she also has her own publishing company called Prodigy Kids Press. I'm impressed. I am totally impressed with her. I'm so glad that she's decided to be a member of the book club and come on the podcast and share her journey with us. Welcome to the podcast, our newest member, our youngest member, teen author, Elena Southworth. Elena, thank you so much for being the newest member to the book club and being on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited for this opportunity.
I think I'm more excited than you because you're the youngest author that I've had on my podcast. So what? 14? Are you 14?
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 and a published author. I have talked to people who are well beyond 14 who just became published authors. So kudos for you for actually doing it so young. I think that's so exciting. So you've got like this whole book career in front of you, and that's cool. And you've already got 2 books out. You've already got 2 books. So usually what I'll do is I'll ask the authors about their writing journey, and I'm interested in yours. Even though you're only 14, you've still had a writing journey. Tell me about it.
Well, I've actually been writing since I was really, really young. Probably since I could hold a pencil, actually. I've always liked to be creative, come up with stories. I would just staple pieces of paper together, then draw pictures and make up a story out of that when I was young. And then when I was 11, so like I had always wanted to be an author, I just thought, okay, why don't I get serious about this here and actually start writing a book? So I started with a few sentences, some good ideas, and it kind of just grew from there.
And so the first book that you wrote, when did you publish it? How old were you?
When it was published, I was 13, but when I started writing it, I was 11.
And what is the name of that book?
BBLS.
BBLS.
That's this first book here. Yeah.
And that's Big Brother, Little Sister.
Yeah.
And then you have a sequel to that book. And tell me the title of that book.
It's called The Harper's Holiday Horror. The Harpers, that's the family, and the kids are horrors. So that's why I came up with the name. And it takes place during holidays.
So already you've got these 2 books out there. So tell me, how did you go about getting them published? Or did you self-publish? Did you find a publisher? What did you do?
Yeah, we self-published with a few of the self-publishers and then started our own publishing brand called Prodigy Kids Press.
So now you have your own publishing company, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's called Prodigy.
How impressive you are. So not only have you written these 2 books, you've also got your own publishing company, and you've accomplished this by the time you were 14.
Right there.
Very, very cool. Very cool. So tell me about the first book. Give us some insight about the first book. Why would we want to go and get that first book?
Well, it's very kid-friendly, funny, lighthearted. It's about these 2 siblings, Matthew and Aaliyah Harper. They're always causing trouble everywhere they go. Just mischief, fights, getting into trouble, doing things that they shouldn't be doing. They get kicked out of hotels, restaurants, stores, shopping malls, literally anything that you could think of. They get kicked from because they're always causing trouble. But then in the end, they realize, like, they always learn a lesson. They realize that they're siblings, they're friends, they love each other, and they learn to make up when Matthew goes away to college at the very end of the book. Aaliyah realizes that she does love him and she'll miss him, and that they'll always be able to make good memories together.
So, being a children's author, what would you say the age group is for this book?
Well, it's geared towards ages 8 to 12, but I would recommend it to anyone of the reading level, because we've had children like as young as 5, I think 5 or 6 read it, kindergartners. I've had high schoolers read it. It really just depends on your reading level and what you like to read about. So if you're really into comedy, fiction, just something lighthearted to get your mind off of anything, then this would definitely be the book.
Okay, so you get that first book out there, it's published, it's out there. So were you already thinking about the second book, or did you decide after, like, hey, maybe I'll write a sequel?
Actually, I started writing the sequel during quarantine when we had just started publishing. I think it was at the beginning of quarantine, so 2020, I think, is when I started writing it. We had just started publishing BBLS because it was all done. And then I just thought, like, I still had so many ideas for the Harper family, and I wanted to make a new book because, like, why pass up all these great ideas? And I decided that since the first book took place in the summer, I would make the second one a holiday book.
So is it over the through like Halloween through Christmas, or just Christmas?
It starts at Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is one of the first scenes. I think it starts like a few days before Thanksgiving. They were talking about it, and then it goes until Christmas.
And so that book came out. When was that book published?
The Harper's Holiday Horror, that was published last month.
So that one is new. So
yeah,
is there a third book in the works?
Actually, yeah, because I still have a lot of new ideas, and I made the end of the second book a cliffhanger so that it'll get people to keep on reading, because there will eventually be a third book.
So where do you get your ideas from, Elena? I mean, you said you've got all these great ideas. Where do you get these ideas from?
Some of them are based off of true things, just more dramatic. Others are just completely thought up. I really don't even know how I came up with some of it.
So,
but like, yeah.
No, so tell me, so some of the things in the book from these siblings are things that have really happened to you. Is that what you're saying?
A few of them have been made more dramatic. A few of them are actually what really happened. And then some of it is just like stuff that I completely came up with. And I was just sitting one day, I think of this situation, and I'm like, okay, I better go write that down because that would be really funny in BBLS.
So are you looking at maybe taking and making these book audiobooks?
I guess so. Yeah, they're you could buy them on paper or on Kindle, but I feel like audiobooks would be really good because teachers use those a lot in classrooms, or for people who would just like to listen rather than read, you know.
Right. So now that you're a 2-time published author, most authors at this stage have figured out the publishing and all that good stuff, and now they're faced with the marketing of the book, which seems like that is the most time-consuming and can be the most challenging part of being an author. So what have you done to market the books?
Well, I have 3 signings coming up at 3 different Barnes & Nobles in my area, and I did a selling at my school. I've put them in a couple of different school libraries, small libraries, kind of in my area too. They're on Amazon. I've done assemblies for school. They're in Barnes & Noble website, Target, Walmart, pretty much anywhere you could buy the book. We've gone to different stores and places that we think we might be able to buy the book, sell the book on, and we have donated them to hospitals and Orangewood Children's Home.
That's really good. That's good thinking. So when you say we, who is helping you do all this?
It was mostly me and my mom and parents, and my mom mostly arranged the signings, like the Barnes & Noble signing and the boutique thing at my school. It was where a couple of different like stores and sellers who sold things like jewelry and candles, just handmade items, they all came together to sell to the school, and I decided to do this too.
That is really smart. That is really cool. I'm just so impressed because you're so young and you figured out some of this stuff. And I'm telling you, I talk to a lot of authors. A lot of people don't figure this stuff out until later in life. So is this what you want to do? Is this your career path? Is an author what you want to do? And you think you're always going to stick with children's books?
Yeah.
You enjoy writing children's books?
Well, I want to be an oncologist.
Really? So you're going to go to medical school. So the writing thing is just something that you're doing now. Ultimately, your goal is to be an oncologist.
Actually, yeah, I've wanted to be an oncologist since I was 5 years old, I think, 5 or 6, like really young. I've always wanted to be a doctor. I've always liked helping people, but writing's just kind of been like my best hobby. I've always just been good at it. I've loved to do it, and I don't really know where it came from. I just love to do it, and I would definitely continue writing in the future. Like, aside from any career that I may have, I just want to write to be able to entertain people, inspire kids and other people to write, and bring joy to others.
And that's a good thing. And there's no reason why you can't do both. There's no reason why you can't be an oncologist and be an author at the same time. So you can do both of that's what you want to do, because you can do whatever you want to do. So do you have more, when you say you have more stories, do you have more stories about the Harpers, or are you going to start to bring in other characters, or maybe just bring in a whole new family?
I've got a few new ideas for other books that are completely different, but mostly the Harpers, because in the third book there actually is going to be a whole new family in there, but it'll still be focused on the Harpers. It'll just be like a new friend of the Harpers that are kind of like them, just to add more comedy, kind of.
That is really, really cool. I just really like how you've come up with these books and how you've got them published, and you got your own publishing company, how you're doing all this marketing for the books. It's just very cool, Elena. I just think it's very, very cool. So what else is on the horizon? You got book 3 out there. Yeah. What else are you thinking? Are you going to maybe think about publishing any other people, or what do you want to see the publishing company become?
Well, I would love to have other authors want to publish their books with us. I have friends actually who I have inspired to write books, and definitely more kids who, if they liked my book, then if they want to write a book, they could totally feel free to publish it through us.
That is very cool. So tell me, do you have like a publishing website or an author website?
Yes, I do. It's elenasouthworth.com, just my name. And you could contact me through that website. You could find out about upcoming signings, any events going on, and the links to purchase my book from different websites.
Fantastic. So, Elena, one of the things that I like to ask authors, especially those who have are indie authors who have self-published. There's a lot of authors out there, or a lot of people who want to be authors who are always looking for advice, or maybe can learn from the things that you've learned. So if you were to give somebody advice on either how to publish their book or what they should do, what advice would you give to them?
Don't give up no matter how hard it might seem to do, because trust me, like, I've felt like my book's not good enough before. I felt like, this is too much stress, too much work. I want to go do something else. I'm not into this. And always my favorite like motto to live by. Just wait. Oh my God, what was it word for word? Something like never say you can't, because if you think that you can't and you really can, then you missed the opportunity.
Those are wise words. Yes, never give up, even though it can be incredibly challenging. And sometimes, yes, I think a lot of authors feel like maybe their book isn't good enough or nobody will like it, but that's just fear. That's just an illusion. And now the book is out there, and you're finding that people are liking the book, aren't you?
Yeah, and even if someone doesn't like it, like I still did it. I did it for me and for people who really would want to read it, who do like that. And even like though it, besides just the fear of will people like it or not, even just the, oh, I don't want to do this, I want to go do something else, I'm bored, it's still like, it'll be stressful, but you, if you just get it done, then you'll have time to rest later.
That is very true. And if you just do it, once you do it, you realize that it wasn't as hard as you thought it was going to be.
No, because like now that it's done, like there's been times when the characters actually have gotten on my nerves because the little girl is very annoying. I had to take a 2-week break from Aaliyah one time because you'll get sick of it after a while. It would be like reading the same book over and over again, but like you've got to do it if you want it to happen.
Right. And that's just hammering out the first draft. You might have to come back to it over and over and over again. And it's okay to take breaks too. It's definitely okay to walk away sometimes, because sometimes you need to. You can't.
Yeah, of course.
When you're writing, at least for me, writing is I can't force it, because then nothing comes at all. It just has to come to me, and then I just end up writing. Yeah. Well, Elena, I am so glad that you have these 2 books out. Again, tell me the name of both of the books.
The first book is BBLS, Big Brother, Little Sister. I think you could look it up by either name on Amazon. And then the second one is called The Harper's Holiday Horror, a BBLS story. So that would probably, if you were to look that up on something like Amazon, that's usually where I look up the books to see them. Then it would come up as well.
And then again, tell us where the website is so if people want to go check you out or maybe see if you're going to be in their area for a signing. What's the website? ElenaSouthworth.com. Elena, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I expect to hear from you when book 3 comes out, so you can come back and tell us about it. So I'm excited for you. Like I said, I'm very impressed. You've done so much at so young. So kudos to you. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity. I love doing this. I love being able to share my books with people and entertain others. Absolutely.
Thank you so. And like I said, I mean it. I expect you to come back when book 3 comes out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll definitely want to let you know.
Absolutely.
Probably won't be for a while, but I'll get it done at some point.
That's okay. We can wait. That's okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love doing this. I'm just glad I get to share it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of BHP Book Club. I am your host, Kelly Morgan. I just wrapped up with 14-year-old teen author Elena Southworth as we talked about her writing journey and her 2 books, BBLS, which stands for Big Brother, Little Sister, and the second book, the sequel, The Harper's Holiday Horror. She's got a 3rd book in the works. She has her own publishing company. She was an excellent guest. I wish her all the best. And that 3rd book, she promised to come back and share with us when she gets that 3rd book out. If you are an author and you want to promote your book on the podcast just the way Elena did, it's very easy. Go to my website, brightheadedpublishing.com. Go to the contact section, get in touch with me, we'll connect. Next thing you know, you're the new author on the podcast, you're the new member to the book club, and you are sharing your journey with all of us. It's really that simple. I'm so glad that you decided to join me today. Thank you so much for listening. I couldn't do it without you. I am truly, truly grateful. Next week, I'll have another author, a new journey. But until then, keep writing.